Hello everyone. So after so many years working as a freelance makeup artist, I decided why not to share some of the methods I implement within my makeup bag that I'm actually using. And maybe if you are just starting and thinking I need like 10 high coverage foundations and then different undertones and then different foundations for a different skin type, you can do a lot with a few products, mixing undertones, mixing coverage. So there's so much stuff you can actually do with a few products. And just so in the beginning, and you can save your money, there are some methods that I implement and actually they are working really well, so I just wanted to share with you. I have to put this one as well. So obviously when it comes to foundations, we have different types of foundations, different tones of foundations. And one thing I want you to understand that we have high coverage foundations, and regardless if they're drugstore or high-end. And then we have, I would say medium coverage, and then we have lightweight coverage. And the foundations that are actually really lightweight, they have a big percentage of the water inside of them and they don't have that much coverage, but what I do like to do with them is to change the undertone for my, depending on the skin type that skin tone that I'm working on. So let's just say you want high coverage, and there are really even in a drugstore good foundations that you can implement within your makeup routine. So for example, this L'Oreal Infallible, now it's actually 32 hours of wearing foundation. This one is having really thick consistency and it is high coverage. Actually for its price and what it does, it's really great. So let's just say we want high coverage. So it can be even YSL Hours foundation. This one has high coverage and it's really good high-end product. This is like light medium tone, which this one actually it's golden beige. And let's just say we need a shade that is a bit lighter for us. So what we can do is this one right here. It's really light and it's like a tint that adds into all of this story. We can do two things if we want to keep high coverage. So what we can do here is either add light foundation if we just want to add up a little bit of lighter tint, but if we want to just keep up this thick consistency, then for example what I'm gonna do, and to prolong the wear, it's my prolonger concealer. This one is in shade NC20. It's going to lighten up this consistency, same as this one right here. So just wanted to mention how beautiful this shade is. This is OW from Backstage line from Dior. How many times do you know if you're having a client that has really light skin tone? So if you're going even a little bit darker, then that's a problem. Every different undertone on the light skin, it will show up in a bad way. This one right here is so light and it's so beautiful. It's not too rosy, it's not too yellowy. It's just perfect and it goes really well. I'm mixing this with a lot of foundation. It goes really well with so many different textures and types of foundations, liquid foundations. So now, if I want to have, let's just divide this. If I want to have thick consistency, then I'm gonna add a little bit of this MAC Pro Longwear. It's really thick and it actually, the way it applies, you have to be quick with it. So we are just lighting up now our foundation, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this Pixie, I love this essence oil, just to prepare my skin a little bit so I can show you. So this one will give thick consistency, and this is I love contour brush from Real Techniques. It's so good for applying foundation. So this will give again thick consistency, a nice undertone which is not too warm and not too cold. It's somewhere in between. If you want warmer foundation, then you can always go with the foundation that has a little bit warm undertone with it. This gave me thicker consistency. The coverage is not feeling too heavy on the face and it will last longer. Now if you wanna, for example, lighten up this shade, then go one step at a time and test what you got. See how this one is already a little bit liquidy? and it goes right here. And immediately here we're gonna have a bit lighter coverage. So you can build up, you can build up your coverage to be a bit lighter, medium, or heavy. So this one covered, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but this one covered a bit more than this one, and the finish is different because obviously the shade is different, but the shade is light. So this is just one of the ways how you can manipulate your liquid foundation. Now let's just say you want to do a high coverage waterproof liquid foundation. Obviously for that we do need a high coverage foundation, and I'm gonna use this one. Now what we're gonna do to prolong your foundation to make it really waterproof and stay, I'm gonna add again 1 pump of MAC Prolonger Concealer, depending if I want a lighter or darker or the same shade. So for example, let's just say I want a little bit lighter shade again. Then I'm gonna add just like a half a pump of NC20, and then this is from Creolan Camouflage Cream. And just like, I'm gonna take a little piece of this one. This one is actually having wax in it, so that means that anything that is related to humidity, it won't stand this texture, so that means that the foundation will stay longer, which is great. Also, I will add 1 drop of Inglots Duraline, and now I'm going to mix everything again, and this will give me the specific texture. The coverage is high, so you do want to be cautious on which skin types you use this. So this consistency will be really thick, but this one will last long. Now I'm using my brush again. Obviously you always have to check the shade that you're having that is matching what you need, and also it's really important because you're mixing different textures, different colors. In the beginning, just make more product that you actually need, just in case it is hard to replicate the exact same shade with multiple products that you have done. So see how this actually gave me really high coverage, and then if needed I'm going again, and see how it oxidizes. Have to be really careful with that as well, if the product oxidizes, depending on which foundation you use. Always make sure to use a beauty blender to remove any excess if you have from your product. Let's see how this one, I don't know, again, if you can see on camera how this one is lighter and how this one is much more heavier. Now let's just say you want to do a really light coverage, so for that you're going to use shades that are really lightweight in their texture. So for example, your Backstage foundation, like I said, or something really similar is Face and Body Foundation from MAC Cosmetics, and they're really great for, like I said, mixing into other shades. This is new foundation from Chanel, but this one is really lightweight. The texture on this one is really light. It doesn't give you much coverage, but they have a good shade range, and it's good to mix with other products. It works well. So in this case, the best thing is just to use that foundation. If you're not having the exact shade, then I would suggest you to, for example, to have 2 different types of shades. So these are both your Backstage foundations. This is really light, this is darker, and this is in shade 2.5, and this is shade 0W. So again, in a case just of a light foundation coverage, you just go with mixing in between light foundations. You don't go, for example, with a heavy prolonger concealer or with some of the camouflage stuff. You just don't use that. And now, how you can actually make the shades from totally light to dark. Again, let's just take, again, shade in between. So here I'm going to put really dark shade. Here I'm going to put really light shade. Now how do we get the range of foundation from here to here? These are actually all neutral shades. So let's just say this is my lightest shade. So if I want to have a shade that is a little bit deeper, just a little bit, then I'm going to add a little bit of this foundation. Now depending on how much my foundation has to go light or dark, it will depend on how much product do we put inside. So here obviously I'm going to put a bit more of this foundation just to have deeper tone, and then we are at the middle right after this one. Now same goes for the darker foundation. If I want to have a little bit darker foundation than this one, then the tone of this one has to be really light. I have too much of a product. Just because I'm working here with a small sample, it's a bit difficult. So it's different. But you add a product. The important thing to remember is to add a product one step at a time, you know. So obviously here we have, I'm going to remove as well. So obviously here we have as well, we want even darker shade. So I do add a product as much as I need. So this is how from one foundation you can go really light. Also you can go really dark. Then if you want to add a little bit of warmth, you can always go with a little bit of different undertone. This is slightly different. I don't know if you're gonna again be able to catch it on camera. The important thing is you can do so much with actually a little bit of product, which is great if you're starting in the makeup industry, and of course you can do so much with actually a little bit of product. If you are not able to maybe buy like 10, 15, 20 different shades, you can manipulate so many formulas and textures. I put this foundation here as well because of his unique texture. It is medium to light, but it's so good, and it's really good for the photos and for the camera in general. They also reformulated their lines, so we have new formula for the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, but this is my all-time favorite. Again, like I said, I can add lighter shade even into this, and to again go lighten up everything that I need. Obviously we have even correctors to correct imperfections on the skin, which is really important, but also what you can do, for example, if you do want to make your foundation a little bit yellow, much more yellow, you can always add just a tiny bit of the product and see how it changes its color. And you always add product until you see the result that you want to see, until the color is matching what you actually need at that moment. Here I just wanted to mention these Maybellines. I took my cap off because it's easier to use it like this. It's a concealer, and I really like how for the drugstore how great this one is. So lightweight and it looks good on the skin. They've done a really great job on this. One more thing I wanted to mention is that no matter how your liquid foundation is good, the thing is with the powder foundations you can't risk. So you have to go with the powders that are actually really good and that will sit really good on top of the liquid foundations. If you don't do that, no matter how good your liquid foundation is, you're gonna mess up your whole makeup base. As you can see, I put some of them that I use all the time for the whole face. This is Chanel's Natural Finish Powder in shade 20, loose powder. Charlotte Tilbury, I love to use this one as a under eye brightening, flawless finish. It's so good, and you know the area that tends to be the area on the face that tends to be really challenging to not see those imperfections and to not look too powdery, because the powder sets into fine lines. This one is really great for that, and I just messed up my whole packaging because my hands are just full of foundation. Then again we have La Prairie here, and it's medium. It's actually medium shade of loose powder. It's actually translucent, but it has a lot of tint in it. But it's nice feeling, nice finish. And then Chanel's all over face foundation. I can do a lot with this one. I can even contour, and the contour looks really lightweight. That's what I do. Sometimes I even contour with the liquid foundations, or even in this case I do mix, for example, dark shade of Pro Longwear concealer. It will give me that the longwear foundation. I really prefer that. And just recently I've been using even more lately this Pixie Rose Radiance Perfector on top of my liquid foundations. I really love how it looks like, because it has a little bit of sparkle in it. Ooh, it's really liquidy. Now this is obviously too much. I love how the finish of this is on top of the foundation. I really love it. So guys, this is what I wanted to share with you today. This is what I'm wearing in my makeup bag. This is something like essential stuff that you can again manipulate so much with it, and to have a lot of use out of this. Again, not having like 50 products here for what I've just mentioned. I've said so much stuff. I don't know even if I said everything I wanted to, but I will cover some other stuff. I can cover some other stuff in another video. Just let me know what you want to see. And just wanted to say, no matter what, invest in a couple of really high-end good foundations. I know they're on much pricier side, but it is worth it. But again, like I mentioned, so much you can mix within these products. I will see you guys in my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.